All right, hello again, algebra 2 people. So we're going to continue with our factoring quadratics kind of series of videos. In the previous video, we talked about just how to factor quadratics if a is equal to 1, or if the a can be factored out like a GCF. Today we're going to talk about when a is not equal to 1. Now I am going to break this up into a couple of different videos because I don't want it to be too long. So really all I'm going to talk about in this video is the process, which you see on bullet points there on your screen, and then just do 2 examples and then kind of finish this one up, and I'll do some more examples in the next video. And also talk about some special cases. So the process here, again, just if you want to kind of pause the video real quick and read through those bullet points, but this is what we're going to be doing there. Now, in full disclosure, there are some different methods out there of factoring, but after doing this for a few years, this seems to be the most successful way that the students generally can remember how to do this. So the first part, we want to make sure the quadratic is equal to 0. So you can see on example 1, it's equal to 0, so we're good, okay? We can check for a GCF. Obviously, I can't divide those things by 7 to be a clean number, so there's no GCF. So since there's no GCF, what we do, the first step is to multiply the A and the C. So in this case, my A is 7 and my C is 6. So if I multiply those together, I'm basically bringing that 7 over to the 6. I'm going to rewrite it. So it's x squared plus 43x plus 42. Now, I ain't going to lie, that's cheating. We are cheating. But this is a good cheat, so it's okay. Because now, look what we have. Now we have a quadratic that we know how to factor, because that's what we did. We've already kind of talked about how to do this with a is equal to 1. So think to yourself, how do we multiply to get 42 and then also add those same numbers together to get 43? Well, in this case, it'd be 1 to 43, right? So we'll do x plus 1, x plus 43, or 42 rather, sorry. So that's my factoring, but here's what you got to remember, right? So remember, we cheated to be able to factor it easy. Now we have to undo the cheating, okay? And it's this step right here that I'm kind of drawing in red. So we need to, once we get it factored, now we need to divide both of those constants by our A. So in this case, 7. So if I divide both of those things by 7, and then look at the next step. So simplify, if the fractions can be simplified, do that first. Obviously, my first fraction, I can't do anything with 1/7, so I'm going to leave it alone. And then my second factor, though, 42 divided by 7 is just 6. So I can say that is just x plus 6. Okay? And then to finally get factored form, once I simplify it, now I'm on this bullet point here that I'm drawing to in blue. So now, if you have a denominator left over in either of the factors, sometimes it might be both of them, whatever, if you have a denominator left over after you've simplified, we're going to take that denominator and swing it in front of the x. Okay, still going to stay inside the parentheses. The 1 on top is going to stay where it is. So now my factor form is going to look like 7x plus 1, that 7 comes in front. And then the x plus 6, nothing to do there. So that is my factored form, and you're done. Okay? Some people call this whole method the swing method because of that, you're kind of swinging the 7 to the 6 to multiply, and then you're swinging the denominator in front. So if you hear this called the swing method, that's why it's called that. Okay. Now again, that is your factored form. If the question just asks you to factor it, you write that and you're done. But if the question is asking you to solve, now we do the same thing that we did yesterday on the previous video in solving these things. So we take each individual factor, in this case 7x plus 1, set it equal to 0, and just do the algebra. So subtract 1 from both sides, and then divide by 7. So x equal to -1/7.
And then same thing for the other factor. This is just a one step, so just subtract 6 from both sides. So your solutions, or your x-intercepts, roots, zeros, whatever you want to call them, in this case would be -1/7 and -6. Okay, so just to recap, make sure the quadratic is equal to 0, multiply the a and the c and rewrite it, kind of think of it like cheating. Factor what you have, and then divide both factors by your a, kind of undo the cheating. And then simplify the fractions, and then swing any denominators that are left over. So let's go and do one more example, and then again, I'm going to go and stop the video after the second example, and then I'll do some more examples in a later video. So take a look at example 2. Notice the first thing we got to do, we got to get it equal to 0. So I got to move that 6 over. So again, always do the opposite thing. So subtract 6 from both sides. So we have this. Okay, now again, check for a GCF. I can't divide all of them by 2 evenly, so there's no GCF, so I got to do my process. If you want to try to pause the video and go through the process by yourself real quick, I encourage you to do that. But I'm going to kind of keep on going through here. So first thing you do, multiply a times c. So 2 times -6 is -12. So it's x squared minus x minus 12 equals 0. Remember, that's our cheating. Factor that the way we know how to. So what multiplies to -12 adds to be -1. And of course, that can be -4 and +3. Oops. I'll just make that a plus. Do it that way. Remember, the order doesn't matter. Just make sure your signs are correct for what you want. So +3, -4 gives me, that multiplies -12, adds to be -1. Now we got to undo my cheating. So I multiplied it by 2, so I need to divide by 2 on both factors. Simplify if you can. First one can't be simplified, so we're just going to leave that as x plus 3 over 2. Second one, 4 over 2 is 2, so this is x minus 2. And then we have a denominator that's left over. So we take that 2, bring it in front of the x. So by factored form, 2x plus 3, remember that top number just stays there. And then x minus 2, and that's your factored form. To solve, we just take whatever our factor is, set it equal to 0, and continue getting x by itself. So subtract 3 from both sides, and then divide by 2. Same thing for the other factor. Just add 2 to both sides. So those are your solutions. Okay? The process never changes, folks. Make sure it's equal to 0. Multiply the a times the c, factor, divide, swing any denominators left over, and then set equal to 0 to solve. Some more examples and some special cases will come in the next video. If you have some questions, talk to your teacher, come in tutoring. Until next time, stay safe.